experiencing here tonight, or this season, has been the loss of a loved one. And that, the classic word for that is bereavement. But we can be grievous over many different things. We can lose a vision that we have. We can see a job that we had no longer be with us. We can grieve many different things. But our focus tonight is to talk to you a little bit about some things that we found in our many years of working with people and going through seasons of bereavement ourselves, how we have found that as we get to the holiday season, the issues that you face in the first year or so following the death of a loved one, how these very practical aids that we think we're going to be able to present to you can help you through a really difficult season of time. I want to start off by giving you a couple of major thoughts about the sense of bereavement, all right? Many of you probably, when your loved one was in the process of dying, or especially if it was not a sudden death, you might have worked and read some things about the cycle of grief, right? You may have read something, I'm sure, that the fine people that run this organization have books that they can give to you, and resources that they can recommend to you. But one of the greatest books written on grief is a book called On Death and Dying by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And she's really the first person that said that there were cycles that people go through when they go through grief. Anger and denial and all those things, bargaining, we bargain for the loved one's life or whatever. The problem with that, it's a great study, all right, and I'm not dismissing it at all, but here's the issue. Not everybody grieves at the same time in the same way, all right? So if someone well-meaning has said to you, well, you should be over this by now, all right? That might be well-meaning, but don't feel badly if you're not, all right? If someone says to you, well, you shouldn't act in a certain way, or around the holidays, you know how a lot of us at the holidays wear more festive colors, right? Well, you shouldn't wear those festive colors, you should still be grieving. There's a lot of religious and cultural things that come along with going through grief. And you need to know that however you're grieving, you should be allowed to do that in whatever way feels comfortable with you, all right? So I'm going to give you some questions, and then I'll try to illustrate these, okay? Here's some questions I'd like you to think about as you go through the holiday season. Number one, what traditions will I avoid or modify this year? All right, here's another question. What plans will I make for Christmas? Here's a tougher one. What will cause me the most anxiety this season? Here's the last one for you. This is a hugely important one. Whom can I call when the low moments come? God love you. You brought one with you. Okay, great. Who will come and sit with me? Who will come and listen to me? Or who's going to come and just be there? Take care of yourself physically. All right? Loss in any form is a draining. All right? Loss drains us. So you need to be able to say no to certain social encounters. If you don't feel comfortable with going out, you don't even have to explain. You know, have you ever seen somebody who has a sign on their desk, what part of no don't you understand? Right? You don't even have to give that word. You just say, I'm not interested in coming, or I can't make it this year or something. But you got to watch yourself physically, all right? Give yourself permission to miss the Christmas party. People won't think less of you, particularly people you work with who really know you. Your neighbors, if you have a neighborhood meeting. They understand what's going on in your life. People are much more forgiving than we really think they are. All right? Celebrate in a simpler way. Do you really need the big tree? Who's going to take the big tree out when it's time to do that? Do you need to put up all the lights? All right? Is that going to be more taxing to you and less joyful for you? And if you're good with it, then fine, you go with it. But celebrate in a simpler way. Again, this is my favorite one. Build a new memory and enjoy the old ones. Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay, can I do that?
Sure.
Tell me a family tradition about the holidays.
Christmas Eve at my cousin's house, and we have an exchange. So, my mom always gave a gift to each of my cousins. It was like a giving. And so last year, she died in October, and so that Christmas we knew it was going to be pretty hard. So we still, from her house, she had a collection, so we gave each of the cousins a piece from her collection as kind of a wrap up, I don't know what you want to say.
Okay, good. Okay, so this year, are you going to be resuming that tradition?
You don't have any more pieces.
Wow.
But no,
Wow. Okay, well, we'll take up a love offering at the end here.
we made a cookbook of her recipes.
Great.
At like Shutterfly, and
Great.
we had made it just for us, but this year we're giving them all a copy.
That's outstanding. Okay, so you're keeping a tradition which roots you in the past, but you're adding to it which assures you of the future. That's great. Okay. And I know a lot of people, and you're afraid to do this, but a lot of people, what happens is every tradition they have, they just dismantle it. They want nothing to do with it anymore. The traditions, they root us. All right? They hold us to something that was very, very special, or someone who was very, very special. All right? So I'd encourage you to look at that. And then another thing that is, I think, really good, be careful about your own rest, and taking care of yourself physically, celebrating in a simpler manner, remembering your loved one by building memories, and here's the last one, serving others.